Hello everyone, it's Robin here and welcome. I'm so excited to see you all today. So today I have my reading journal here and I'm going to be updating it with all the books I read in April. I've been having so much fun with this reading journal. We just created a new page for it in April, so we're going to be adding something to that, but I've been enjoying filling out all the different areas. I've also been enjoying doing this reading journal journey with my friend Tracie over at Midwest Craft Chat. We do a collaboration every month on the 5th of the month, so you can get all your reading vibes in the planner journal world, and I'll put a link to her video so you can check out what's happening. I'm excited to see what she's doing today too, but in the meantime, I can't wait to get started on mine. So let's flip the camera down and get the bookish things going. It's always my favorite time of the month when I get to update my reading journal, which I love to do. And I'm loving my Hogwarts reading journal here. Here's to a brilliant year. Yes, absolutely. Here's to a brilliant year. So we're going to go and start in the back where my reading log is, right here. This has been very helpful to fill out, and I can share with you the books that I read this month. I read 3 books in April. I have them written down already. I was having kind of I was having a month here in April reading, but we got 3 books done and I'm okay with that. So I'm just pulling a bunch of stickers out here that I may need to use, and mostly these icons. So we'll get started. We're gonna go straight across here. I've got pens, I have some pictures here. We're gonna do all the things. But first we need to do this area here. So let's just go in order. The first book I read was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So I'm going to take this pink mild liner and I'm going to color the spine of the book here in this pink color because that will kind of show these were all done in the same month. I'm going to do it to all 3 of them actually. So let's just do that real quick here. Always fun coloring in your planner or your journal, right? Okay, so we have those done. We'll keep this aside because we're going to use it again later. So I read Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling, and I read the illustrated version, which was illustrated by Jim Kay, and that's this version here. I love these books. They are so gorgeous. Look how big this is. You feel like amazing when you're reading it. Let me show you an illustration just so you can kind of see. So here's Harry, and this is the sorting hat. You can kind of see there's the eye, there's his mouth, and this is when the sorting hat is telling Harry, or kind of conversing with him about not Slytherin, eh? Well, how about Gryffindor? So that's really fun. These are just beautiful, beautiful pages, beautiful illustrations. Look at that. Oh, love it so much. And I have all of these, there's 5 of them, and they are coming out with a 6th illustrated next year because Jim Kay is isn't going to be illustrating anymore, so they had to find a new illustrator. So they found one, and we will get another one out next year, and hopefully we'll finish the set because I want to read all of them. Okay, so moving on with that, so I read this in a book, so we're going to use the book icon here and put that right here. It was 256 pages. It's a book. It's a fantasy. The characters are Harry Potter, Ron, and Hermione, and so many more. So many more, right? So we do want to give it a star rating. So we're going to place this right here. And total 5. It's Harry Potter. So Harry Potter is about a wizarding school, if you're not familiar. And we have wizards and witches, and they go away to school, and, you know, they fight forces and do all kinds of fun stuff and school stuff. I really love this first book quite a bit. I love this first book a lot. I always say that Harry Potter starts off, you know, kind of light and fun, even though there's bad stuff happening. But then in the later See, I've seen all the movies, right? So I'm kind of going by the movies. It just gets darker and darker and darker. But I love this whole beginning and the whole school thing. And they're all so young, and little Ron Weasley with his red hair. And I love his family so much. I would like to live with his family. And Hermione is really funny too. So Harry Potter, total 5, absolutely. Okay, So the next book I read was my memoir. It was Talking as Fast as I Can. That's Lauren Graham. Oh, here, I'll show you the picture of that. So there's Lauren Graham, and she, of course, was Lorelai Gilmore. She was also on The Parenthood, which I watched that too. Absolutely love that as well. And this is her kind of memoir about getting into acting and getting into the Gilmore Girls and then on into Parenthood. So I really enjoyed that a lot too. 224 pages, but I'm doing my memoirs as audio because I want to hear the actors voice it, which they do. When they write their memoirs, they tend to narrate it. So I'm putting, well, that's right, I'm putting this over here, and I'm actually going to write the hours, which I had written down here. Let me check on that. It was very short, 4 hours and 35 minutes. So it was fun listening to it. Now, I have read this before in a Kindle version, but I wanted to hear Lauren Graham speak because I think you just get a different inflection when you hear them speaking the book that they wrote. So I really did enjoy this. It's about obviously about her life. I just said that. I don't rate the memoir, so we're going to leave that be, but I loved it. It was really good. A very quick read too, by the way. Okay, the third book I read was Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. Look at that cover. Isn't that amazing? This was part of the books that I put on my spring reading list, and I had never read from this author before. So I wanted to try this book out because I thought it was very springy. It's Olivia Atwater, 305 pages. It's a fantasy romance, kind of a Regency era situation. So there's a lot going on in this book. But what it really is very much a cozy romance set in the Regency area. The fantasy part has to do with there's fae involved, fairies involved, and a bit of magic involved. So that kind of brings in the fantasy element. But I think the romance part is probably a big, well, that part's big too. So it's fantasy romance is really what I wrote. Set in Regency London. How's that? This is book 1 of 3. So it's actually a series, which is interesting. I enjoyed it. Let me get my stars. But I took forever to read this book. And I think, though, that was more about me than the book itself. Because, like I was saying, I was just having a time. I was having a time through April reading. And I think that happens to us sometimes, right? Sometimes I would be reading this book and I'm like, oh, this is a total 5. I'm enjoying the cozy relationship happening here, the cozy vibes, love it. And then sometimes I was like, no, this is a total 3. I can't get through this. So we're giving it a 4. How's that? We're going to give it a 4 and we're going to say this is good. And I think I want to read some of the next ones to see where we're at with it. So as a fantasy romance, it's a very cozy. So there's not a lot of spice happening, which is a very stark difference from the spice and action of Fourth Wing. Okay? Very different, but a lovely little spring story. So there we have that. Okay, so we're going to move ahead to our trackers section so that we can fill in our trackers here. So we'll start with our monthly stats. Okay, so I have my page count here, which was a whopping 785. You would think I was reading War and Peace this month, how slow it took me to read these 3 books. These things happen sometimes. These things happen. It really didn't have anything to do with the book, so I just wrote 3 there. Oh, I'm gonna inline this. So I used the same color as I used to outline. Oh, I probably should have used emoji. Well, that's okay. It's working, but there. It was more me reading. It wasn't the books. It was me. It's just probably not a reading month for me. But I did it. Yay! Okay, let's move on. And, oh, there's my book bingo. I'm going to do this in a moment. We're going to make something on these 2 pages later this month. So I'm very excited about that. But we're going to go to the bookshelf here because I want to start setting these books in. So these are book covers. I print them out and put them on sticker paper because I have sticker paper here. I made a video about how I do this. If you're interested in checking that video out, I'll link it down below for you. But I love putting these on here. Now I have like 3 different sizes that I use. This one is 1.5 inches tall, and I use this to line my bookshelf. So the first book we read was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So we're gonna put that right there. And the second book we read was Talking as Fast as I Can. And that was great too. Love Gilmore Girls. I think I'm gonna watch Gilmore Girls this fall. It's been a couple of years since I watched the entire series. So I'm due, I'm ready for it. And then the third book we read was Half a Soul. This cover also is very springy and looks very cool. So there, my bookshelves are lining up nicely, right? Okay, this page we just made recently. Did you see that video? I'll link that down below. This is my reading genres page, and I used the rainbow trio boxes from my Etsy shop, the headers, to put these books on here. And I love that they're all separated like this. So we had to figure out what genres are these books, and we're gonna write them in their areas. So let's do that. Okay, so I put Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone here in fantasy, and I moved to my Muji, which is a very fine tip for these little boxes. And then I was having trouble figuring out if I should put Half a Soul in fantasy, because it definitely is a fantasy, or in romance. I decided that it's going in fantasy because romance is really more, these are more the contemporary romances I'm reading, so we'll keep it over in fantasy. The premise of Half a Soul, I don't think I told you this, or who the characters are. Did I skip that whole part? I totally skipped that whole part. Oh my gosh. Because it's interesting. Okay, so the characters of Half a Soul are Dora and Elias. And Dora, when she was a young girl, went out in the woods and some fairy took half her soul from her. And her cousin, Vanessa, pulled her back and saved her, so the fairy didn't like take her whole soul. So Dora's growing up now with half a soul. So they go into Regency London, where, you know, there are parties and, you know, trying to get married and that type of thing. And so here's this girl with half a soul, and her thing is that she doesn't experience emotions to the level most people do, and she says things more so at an inappropriate time, and she's a little abrupt. So she's a little of that nature. Well, they meet some people. They meet Albert, and they meet Elias, and Elias is he has magic in him, and he sees something in Dora. So they have kind of this connection, but he is completely goes against all the rules, and doesn't like to follow society, but he's also on the outside, which nobody sees, is he's very helpful, and he's trying to help the poor people and that type of thing. Albert is their 2 friends. So that's how that all kind of comes together. So I find it really interesting because Dora and Elias get together. He's a little gruff, and she's a little, I don't want to call her sunshine. We're going to get to that here in a minute. But she's definitely more than him, and he's a lot to handle, but she can totally handle him. So this is the story about them all getting together and about the work he does in London. So what I like about it too is it kind of gives a little historical fiction going on with it as well, because it goes into the workhouses of London during that Regency period and how the poor were treated during all of that. And it's just very interesting. Okay, let's move on. I didn't write a memoir on here because I created this whole page for my memoirs, which I find fun because my goal is to listen to 1 memoir a month this year, so that at the end of the year, I will have listened to the stories of 12 people. And I find that really kind of fun. So I have 12 spots here for my memoirs. So now my whole first row is filled. So we did Kelly Bishop, the Gilmore Girl, and now we've done Lauren Graham. So I think that's cool. This was really fun. This is about Lisa Marie Presley. And of course, we have Marie McCormick from the Brady Bunch. Super awesome. Okay, my next page is my romance bucket list. And here is where I'm going to take the romance that I read, which is basically Half a Soul. And I'm going to fill in some areas. So this is the setting. So small town, beach, or wedding, none of that really went on there. So we're not going to fill that out. Genre, it was definitely a romantasy for sure, but it was also Regency. So I'm going to fill it in here. Sometimes books are more than one thing, right? And then the trope, Grumpy Sunshine, it was definitely not fake dating, and it really wasn't enemies to lover. There was a little Grumpy Sunshine going on, although she's not really sunshine, but it kind of is. I'm going to put it here because that kind of is like that. It's a sweet little romance. Okay, I think that's the end of this part. Let's go to the book bingo because that's like this has been my favorite page to fill out. So what I've done since we were last together is I took a Tombow, a very light beigey color. It's number 942, and I'm kind of just drawing on them and marking them off over here because I was getting confused as to where these were. So I'm marking them off as we go. And this is where I take these little covers to see if I can fit them in here somewhere. These are about 1 1/4 inches tall. So the memoir, I've already filled the memoir out, so probably not. But I have Harry Potter and I have Half a Soul. So Half a Soul is about London, Regency. It doesn't really talk about another country though, so I kind of hesitate putting it there. Definitely is a new to me author. Maybe we'll put it there. And Harry Potter, I mean, I filled out a lot of my fantasy. Well, here's fantasy, but this could go down here too. Also a movie. Look, that's what we'll do. Okay, we'll fill it out this way. And we're going to put Harry Potter, also a movie, goes right here. Because we do know all the Harry Potter movies, right? And then we'll take Half a Soul and put it as a new to me author, which will go right here. There, just like so. And then I'll take this marker and I'm just going to kind of, you know, color it like that. And also a movie. Okay, we are doing nicely on our book bingo. I can't believe how much fun this has been for me, but it really has been a lot of fun. Okay, we've done all this. Now we're going to go to the front and do the final piece, and that is our monthly, where I put all the books down, I put my stats down here, and then I'll pick a quote and my favorite book. So we have April and May, and for these I've been using my Soft Florals collection, and I'm actually using the journaling piece. So I think we're going to put these just like so. Let me take this out just a second. It might make it a little easier. Here, I'll move this aside. So the journaling kits have been working really nicely in here, and I love how it looks. So I kind of been putting them in the order, and I just space them out depending on, you know, how many I have. And then we'll write some stuff down here. I think that looks about right. Let's do this. Okay, lovely. Let's grab some pens. Okay, I have this pen here and my marker. I also have these two. I have Books Read, Pages Turned script, and my favorite book script. So we're going to pull these out. We're going to do Books Read here. And so I can write that in this box, just like so. And Pages Turned will go in the next one. Right about there. I don't want to interfere with that hole punch there. Okay. And, well, let's write this in first. So we read 3 books, which that's fine. What was it? 785 pages. Again, you would have thought I was reading War and Peace or Moby Dick for how long it took me to read those pages. It was like, seriously. Okay, favorite book is, do you know? You probably do because you saw my star ratings, right? Yes, of course. My favorite book was Harry Potter. I'm really enjoying reading this. See, I want to read the whole series too this year in all of the illustrated books. Well, at least the ones that I have, right? Okay. And now I'm going to put a quote down. So usually my quote has to do with my favorite book, and that's what I think we're going to do here. So let me gather myself for a moment and we'll take care of this. Okay, so my quote, it's not really a quote, it's more of a motto. And it's Draco dormiens nunquam titulandus. Okay, that's Latin, and I don't speak Latin, but we get the idea here. But what I love about this, so this is the motto of Hogwarts, and it's on their emblem, and you see it all throughout the book and everything, and it's never tickle a sleeping dragon. I find that hilarious, and I love it, and I think it's very true too. It's very good advice. Never tickle a sleeping dragon. Okay. So let's take this and put it back into the journal and see how we look here. So for my bookish year, we have January here. See, I'm really loving the Soft Florals journal collection in here. February and March. And now we have April right here. And now we're ready for May. We're all set up, so we don't need to do anything ahead of time. This has been really fun. So maybe this month I'll have a better reading month. Although I'm not saying this is bad. It's just that I was on the struggle bus all month long reading. But it had nothing to do with the books. I enjoyed all these books. But, you know, we'll see what we're doing here. Right now, I am currently reading. I actually just started my next memoir because the Jeremy Renner memoir just got published. It just became available. And it's his recount of what happened January 1st, 2023, when that big snowplow of his ran over him. So Jeremy Renner is Hawkeye from, the Avenger series and Marvel and that type of thing. And it was a huge ordeal, and he survived it. So I picked that up to just, to hear about what happened, but really his survival of it and, what that has done for him. So that's what we're reading right now, but I'm also ready to pick up some other books. So we shall see. What are you reading right now? I would love to hear about that in the comments below. And I'm also going to put down a link to Tracie's video over from Midwest Craft Chat. We do this collaboration on the 5th of every month. I look forward to it each month. It just is helping. I love reading with friends. It's just nice. So I will put a link down below because she's doing a video today as well. I'm not really sure what she's doing, but I can't wait to find out because I know it'll be bookish. And I hope to see you there. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!